Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing amazing today. I'm jumping on really quick with the word that the Lord revealed to me during my prayer time with him, and I am here to share that word with each of you. And as you can see in the description below, love at first sight. And today we are going to be talking about the beautiful love story, the God ordained love story of Isaac and Rebekah. And we're taking the basis of the topic today from Genesis chapter 24, verses 61 and 67. And I'm going to get right into this word, okay? Then Rebekah and her servants mounted the camels and left with Abraham's servant. Meanwhile, Isaac, whose home was in Negev. And some of these words, y'all, I don't know how to pronounce because, these Bible words is a whole nother ball game. So go back, read it yourself. However you pronounce it is how you pronounce it. But I'm going to pronounce it Negev, okay? And returned from Beer Lahi Roi. One evening, as he was taking a walk out in the field, meditating, he looked up and saw the camels coming. When Rebekah looked up and saw Isaac, she quickly dismounted. "Who is that man walking through the fields to meet us?" she asked the servant. And he replied, "It is my master." So Rebekah covered her face with her veil. Then the servant told Isaac the whole story. And Isaac brought Rebekah into his mother's tent. I'm sorry, you guys. And she became his wife. He loved her very much, and she was a special comfort to him after the death of his mother. Okay, you guys. God divinely led Abraham's servant to the woman that God had for Isaac. And I want you to take your time and go back and read for yourself Genesis chapter 24, the entire chapter. That way you can have a full understanding of where I'm picking up from. But I'm going to give you just a little background. Abraham, he knew he was getting old and he was getting ready to go on to be with the Lord. So he told his servant to go find a wife for his son. So the servant was obedient. He went on the journey to find a wife for Isaac. And he met Rebekah at the well. And while he was there at the well before Rebekah appeared, he was praying to God, asking God to give him a sign so that he can know that the woman that he does see will be the woman that God has for Isaac. So he asked the Lord, if the woman that comes to the well, I'm going to ask her for some water. And if she gives me water and then also offers my camels water, then I will know that this is a woman you have for Isaac. So while he was still praying, here comes Rebekah to the well. And he asked her for some water. And she said, okay. She said, yes, she would give him water. But not only would she give him water, she would also provide water for his camels. So immediately the servant knew that, hey, this must be the woman God has led to me and led me to her, because God answered my exact prayer. So from there, the servant goes back to Rebekah's home. They have dialogue in regards to everything that Abraham told the servant to do. And the servant explained to Rebekah's family and her father why he was there. And they immediately, was in agreement with him. And they're like, okay, God must have led you here. They were okay with Rebekah leaving with him to marry Abraham's son, Isaac. So then we get into the actual connection that was made with Isaac and Rebekah. God had already divinely orchestrated the circumstances in such a way that the servant was in the right location where God was going to lead Rebekah to her promise. The Lord was going to lead Rebekah to her God-ordained spouse, the man that God had chosen for Isaac. See, the servant didn't have to do anything but be obedient. And because of his obedience, it opened up the door for God to do what he needed to do. And when the servant did reveal the reason why he was there to begin with, Rebekah did not argue about it. Rebekah did not say, well, no, this is not what I want to do. God had already prepared her heart and her mind. She was prepared to meet her husband. And she was in alignment and in agreement with the will of God. And as they were journeying and they began to get closer to where Isaac was, Rebekah noticed Isaac in the field, meditating. However, she did not automatically know that that was Isaac. But the Bible says when Rebekah looked up and saw Isaac, she quickly dismounted. So she got off of the camel. But listen here. Then she says, who is that man? So she got off the camel before she even knew who that man was. See, she felt that connection. She felt that drawing. Her spirit was connected with his spirit. And although she did not know that that was Isaac in the field meditating, she felt that pull. She felt that drawing. She felt that connection. How do we know this? Because she dismounted her camel. She sees him, she recognizes him in the spirit, and she gets off of the camel. But she did not know that was Isaac. How do we know this? Because the Bible says she asked this question, who is that man? Even though her spirit knew that that was Isaac, that that was her husband, she did not fully know yet until the servant revealed it to her. And then the servant replied, it is my master. So Rebekah covered her face with her veil. Then the servant told Isaac the whole story. And as soon as the servant revealed to Isaac what was all taking place, he asked no questions. He made no fuss about it because he already knew in his heart, because he felt that same connection. He felt that same drawing. He felt that same pull that she felt. Because God is not going to divinely lead Rebekah to Isaac and then Isaac not know or have that same connection, that same love that God placed in Rebekah's heart and not do the same in Isaac's heart. He's not going to prepare Rebekah for her husband and not be preparing Isaac for his wife. He was already working on Isaac's heart, and he was also working on Rebekah's heart before they even met. And the Bible goes on to say, and Isaac brought Rebekah into his mother's tent, and she became his wife. He loved her very much. This is the first time that Isaac ever met Rebekah, but he loved her. The love was already there because God put that love in Isaac's heart for Rebekah. It didn't take weeks of them having to get to know each other. It didn't take months of courting for them to grow affection for each other. It was immediate. It was an immediate connection. It was an immediate spiritual connection. They were immediately drawn to each other. She recognized him and he recognized her. And just like your God ordained spouse, whoever it is that God revealed to you as your spouse, that connection was real. That connection was from God. Everything that you experienced in that time that you and your God ordained spouse were connected physically was divinely orchestrated by God. You did not meet your God ordained spouse just some type of happenstance, just out of nowhere. God divinely led you to that person. God divinely orchestrated how you guys would meet, however you met. Everyone's story is different. And although at that given moment, God may not have been ready to connect you as far as fulfilling his promise in marriage for you, because it just wasn't the right timing yet, but the connection was still made. See, it was time for Isaac to walk into his assignment. God was getting ready to use him. Abraham was getting ready to go on to be with the Lord. And so Isaac was getting ready to walk into his assignment. Therefore, it was time for him to make a connection with his wife and move on into marriage. And when it's time for you to walk into your assignment, God will bring you back in contact with your God-ordained spouse. You don't have to do anything. All the servant had to do was pray. That's all he did. He prayed that he would meet the wife that God had for Isaac. Isaac didn't have to do anything. Rebekah did not have to do anything. God divinely led them together. All you need to do is do what God has told you to do while you're waiting. And be still and know that he is God, and know that he is going to work it all out. It is not your job to try to make the connection happen, to make the promise happen quicker. It is not your job to make sure you're keeping tabs on your God-ordained spouse, or you have to be in constant communication, seeing what they're doing, concerned about who they're dating or who they're with. Let them be with whoever they are with, because when it's time for God to bring you and your God-ordained spouse into your assignment, whatever little relationship he in, that's about to be over. Because that relationship, they're just placeholders. It's a counterfeit relationship. Don't worry about that. When God is ready to move and work a miracle, all he has to do is speak one word, and that relationship is over. You don't have to do anything. God is the one engineering everything. God is the one that's putting everyone into place. He is the one that's going to draw your God-ordained spouse back to you and draw you back to him. Just like he divinely led Rebekah to Isaac. And it was love at first sight. And it was love at first sight for you. Just because it has not happened yet does not mean what you experienced did not happen. God has placed that love in his heart and it's still there. It's a heavy love. Go back and watch my video where I talked about heavy love. God has put that love in his heart. God has put that love in your heart. He doesn't just work on one side. He works on both sides. And just like he divinely led you two together to meet initially, he will divinely lead you guys back together to fulfill his purpose for your life, for your marriage. The love was there. The love was real. And there's nothing that can break or sever that love. God is going to turn the situation around in his timing. God is still the same. And just like he divinely led Rebekah to Isaac, he's divinely leading you back to your God-ordained spouse. God is not in the business of not fulfilling his promises to you. Trust the Lord, stand on his word. Everything that you experienced was real. Hold on to everything that God spoke over your life. Let God finish the work that he started. Just because it didn't happen right then and there when you met doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just not the time yet. But when that right time comes back, you don't have to do anything. God is going to do all the work. All you need to do is be still and know that he is God. I love you guys, and I'll see you the next time the Lord sends me back with another word. Bye.